on the next episode of Sips, Suds, and Smokes.
We are going to do a brewery takeover.
Are we?
We are. And it is Other Half Brewing Company.
Where's the other half?
Brooklyn, New York.
The Other Half Brewing Company beers we'll be tasting today are Max Air, an 8% Imperial IPA. Mylar Dust, an 8.5% Imperial IPA. Cabbage, a 7.9% double dry hop. Guess what? Imperial IPA.
I'm sensing a theme.
The Double Nelson Daydream, 8.5% double dry hop. Imperial Oat Cream IPA.
Oh my gosh.
Vapor Ringz, an 8.4% double dry hopped Imperial Oat Cream IPA, and possibly a mystery bonus beer to round us out.
We'll be right back after this break. Brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking hosts, the good old boys. Suds, Suds, Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Hello, everyone. Hi. This is another Suds segment where
Is it?
beer is good and cold and boys are good and old.
I'm. What?
A few of us.
36 is not that old.
Hey, I represent that.
You know, it depends. If you were a parakeet, you would be like pretty
Yeah,
ancient.
that'd be pretty old, true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Of course, if you were a sea turtle, you would be like a baby.
I could also be like a baby and like a man baby.
That's true.
Did I just out
that's-
myself?
Like one of those fetish videos.
No.
Where are we going?
No,
with
no,
this?
no, no, no.
No, let's
New
get
record.
back to beer.
Not even 30 seconds in.
No. Stop.
I'm just talking about Drew's second job.
You keep the diapers in the garage.
Are you holding out on us, Drew?
Superstar. He's famous in East Germany.
The lotion on it again. I'll get the hose again.
Okay. I am good
Now that
old
we're all
gal
thoroughly freaked
Juliana with
think we all
this
need a beer.
band of misfits here, but my favorite misfits ever. Joining me at the table today is good old Boy Kendall.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. I love y'all, and this is going to be fun.
This is going to be fun. Reverend Mark, hello.
Hey, and Happy New Year. And so good to be around the table with great friends and great beer, probably.
A few sinners here for you to preach to.
The sinners and the saints all together.
Speaking of good old boy Drew, how are you?
Feeling rather saintly. Thank you.
Yes, I see that halo.
Indeed.
It's newly shined, isn't it?
Very, very much so.
Good old boy Dave, hi.
I am the gangster of love. I am the Lothario of hearts.
Something.
Wow, that's impressive. Well, today we are going to do a brewery takeover.
Are we?
We are.
Are we?
We are.
Are we?
But we are. Yes.
Are when?
And it is Other Half Brewing Company.
Where's the
In
other half?
Brooklyn, New York.
If they're the other half, where's the half?
The half.
Yeah.
The half
First
half.
half.
Yeah, think about
The
it.
first half
Yeah.
might be in Chicago, might be in California, might
Top
be
half,
in
bottom
Nashville.
half, left half, right half. What kind of halves are we talking here?
Yeah.
Hoppy halves?
The third half?
Whoa.
Oh. That's like Matrix level.
True.
I was thinking more like Jean-Paul Sartre or, maybe some
Well, you are
Yeah.
our cultured person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Cultured like bacteria.
No exit out of that one.
All right. Good old boy Dave.
Yes.
Why don't you hit us with some knowledge on the Other Half Brewing Company?
In 2014, Sam Richardson, Matt Monahan, and Andrew Berman founded Other Half Brewing Company, a local brewery in New York City with a simple mission. Confuse people with their name. No, to create beers that they wanted to drink from a company that they wanted to be a part of. Their vision was to build a passionate team that brewed great beers in the state of New York.
This is the worst marketing speak I've ever read. I'm sorry, Other Half.
And they're ending sentences with prepositions.
This is really bad.
Wow, the critiques have already begun.
Hopefully the beer's better than the writing.
with effort and
Ending
thoughtfulness
with
to
prepositions.
represent the other half of the industry. Today, the Other Half team crafts beer in their Brooklyn brewery.
But what about the first half of the
making
team?
beer over here. They're dedicated to collaborating with breweries both in New York as well as across the world, all the way down to Nashville, Tennessee, in an effort to constantly move the industry forward while elevating the craft. The Other Half team believes that local breweries play an important part or role in their communities, which is why they partner with these other like-minded brewers and
I
brands.
fell
and
asleep
local,
5 minutes ago.
local things across the thing and the world, but always return to their home state of New York. Yeah, yes, basically,
Wow.
we know you're from Brooklyn,
I
New
think
York. You said it
Dave-
like 75 friggin' times.
Well, Dave got bored halfway through reading that. I could tell.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a lot of like,
a lot of words.
we want to push things forward and do it better. And
They're going to circle back and,
And we're from
change the
Brooklyn.
paradigm.
and
Have a good
life's
synergy.
You know what? If their beers are good, all this goes away.
This is true.
Right.
This is true.
So
Okay. Well,
Someone who works in marketing, I know
thanks.
bad marketing.
Thanks a lot. I'm really excited about this.
I am excited too.
Oh, yeah.
I am.
They make good beers.
They do. And what's interesting, okay, so you know that I'm like the website-y
Girl?
person.
Oh,
and
yes.
and I'm the girl. What I like though about
Other than
She's the lady. What?
what I like about
Say
Other
more.
Half
bearded lady.
is that they not only have, they're in Brooklyn, but they also
are they
have
in Brooklyn? Because I didn't read that here. Oh wait, yeah, I did 7 times. Sorry.
Okay. Jerk. They are also in Washington, D.C. They're also in the Finger Lakes and in Rockefeller Center, which I think is really kind of cool. And then they also do pop-ups in various parts of New York, including Buffalo.
I love Buffalo.
I know. Isn't
good
that cool?
town.
I like Buffalo much better than I like
Cattle.
other
Manhattan.
half.
Yeah. The other half of the state.
I have a soft spot for Buffalo.
Buffalo,
I lived
home
there
of Sponge
for a few
Candy.
I
years.
love
Yes.
Buffalo.
Yes, yes.
What a
So's
great
Mafia.
place to drink beer and eat wings.
Shout
know,
out to
right?
Sponge Candy.
I
good.
don't want to know.
It's a thing.
Never had
No, it's
Sponge
a thing.
Candy? If
It's a
you've
thing.
never had Sponge Candy,
It's like
you've
the
never
Seinfeld
really been
episode.
to Buffalo. So
It's a thing.
With the lane?
It's a thing.
Oh, no, that's Spongeworthy. Sorry.
Yes. Okay.
SpongeBob.
So thank you, good old boy Dave, for starting
I
us
don't
off.
think I really contributed.
Okay. Good old boy Kendall, please help us. Reel us back in and please give us today's lineup, which I'm excited about.
The Other Half Brewing Company beers we'll be tasting today are Max Air, an 8% Imperial IPA, Mylar Dust, an 8.5% Imperial IPA, Cabbage, a 7.9% double dry hopped, guess what, Imperial IPA,
I'm sensing a theme.
the Double Nelson Daydream, 8.5% double dry hopped Imperial Oat Cream IPA,
Oh my gosh.
Vapor Ringz, an 8.4% double dry hopped Imperial Oat Cream IPA, and possibly a mystery bonus beer to round us out.
I remember when I was a kid and my parents would take me to town, because we live in the country. And if I was really good, they would take all us kids out to get a nice oat cream.
I was thinking a fresh bag of Mylar
I
Dust.
thought if you were good, they brought you back home.
Was he the little piggy that went to market?
I was the one that, if they brought you back home, it was only to do chores in the yard. Yeah.
Okay.
More hands
Mommy,
make less
can I
work.
have a vanilla oat cream?
How do you cream an oat?
Cream of wheat. If you can cream a wheat, you can cream a oat.
Somewhere Rip Tord is smiling down on us.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you, Kendall. That was awesome. Reverend Mark, do you mind giving us the SUDS ratings
In your
for today?
best Brooklyn accent.
I don't know about Brooklyn. I'm from you know where. No, I won't insult.
Where?
Yeah.
I don't know where. I want to, though.
I'm aiming for the Midwest here, folks. All right. We will be discussing and rating these beers with these SUDS ratings plus our signature belching sounds. Here are how the ratings go. Number 1, that sucks. Give me anything but a bud. Number 2, was that a belch? Number 3, what a relief. Number 4, a body should really not make that sound. And number 5, listen to that hang time. Give me another.
Thank you. Very, very much.
Good to get that out.
I know, right?
Better out than in.
Ooh. Okay.
That's what she said.
Let's get to the beers. Now, first of all, a little shout out to my friend Maddie B because he was able to bring these to us very fresh
Shout out, Maddie B.
from New York. But also, granted, we have a lot of hazy looking things in front of us today.
Are you talking about Mark?
No, I'm talking about
It's no way to talk about the
beer. I'm talking
more
about
mature among us.
That'd be Purple Haze. Thank you very much.
All in your eyes.
But what I was getting at is just because we happen to have a nice amount of hazy type of Imperial IPAs in front of the table today. Yes, and they are rather hazy.
I mean, this is the first time we've had a flight of 6 beers where they all look the same.
Right.
How do you
and they
keep them all straight? Like,
And they do. But Other Half is also,
Oh, yeah.
they also brew a variety of things and they make some really nice kolsches and they,
Hazy lagers, hazy stouts, hazy,
Hellas.
yeah,
Well, I guess that's a lot.
hazy odd brune.
Hazy quadrupel.
Yeah.
they make a lot of different beer styles.
Hazy NA.
Hazy barley
But
wine.
we will get into this hazy craziness here from Other Half in just a minute.
Hazy brewed IPA.
Welcome back, everyone. Today's episode is going to be
How to cream an oat.
Sounds painful. That's all I
How
know.
to cream an oat. Sure. No. Actually, today's episode is a brewery takeover of Other Half in Brooklyn, New York. Yay.
Yay, everyone.
So the first beer that we're going to talk about is Max Air. It's an 8% Imperial IPA. They went big with Citra, Vic Secret, and Simcoe for this heavily oated and wheated Imperial IPA. Soft like landing in a snowbank, and how appropriate for maybe the weather in the coming days.
Yeah.
This is pretty
Kind of
tasty.
like
It's super soft.
I didn't want to like it.
It's very minty too. It almost reminded me of opening a jar of Vicks Vapor Rub. But you
Not
mentioned
getting
this.
that.
Quite the endorsement from Reverend Mark.
Go back to sleep, Grandpa.
We used to tie an onion around our
back in my
waist,
day.
as was the practice at the
We
time.
used to put it into jock straps.
Yeah, this is, I don't know. It is super, super soft.
It
but,
is.
I mean, it's a hazy double IPA.
Round
Yeah.
is like the first thing that jumps into my mind.
Okay.
Just the mouthfeel. It's very viscous.
It's not too sweet, though.
No,
it's not.
and
That's what I
I
like.
appreciate
I wish
that.
if it had a touch more bitterness, I would really like it.
Yeah.
But too many hazies are just too sweet, too juicy for me. I want a little bitterness even in my hazies.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, especially for an Imperial because they tilt in the sweet direction anyway. And,
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
Really? See, I'm liking it because I'm getting a little bit of a bitter ending
I
to
didn't
it.
necessarily
it's
say I
crisp
didn't. I
finish.
don't. I mean, I like it.
It's
just-
attenuated, so it's not wordy.
Kendall wants it a little more bitter on the back end, so it just finishes, right? Is that what you're?
Yeah. I do like it though. I think it would be as sweet as it is to me. It'd be hard to drink a whole 16 ounce, but
Agreed.
Okay.
but I'd split one with someone.
I do like an 8-ounce pour of this.
Yeah.
And you feel pretty good about it.
That's how I feel about a lot of hazies
I mean,
lately,
and
though.
especially at 8%. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
You get a 16 ounce can, you split it with a friend.
Because you're gonna get full quick on this thing too.
Sure.
It's one thing I like about a lot of the IPA breweries that I have visited is the half pour is kind of a thing. Not the flight pour, the taster, but the half pour.
Okay.
Not bad though.
It's nice. It's very smooth. And yes, it's pillowy soft. And it's interesting how that's become a descriptive word when it comes to beer, in this day and age.
It's especially like when the mouthfeel becomes a bigger point than the flavor or aroma.
Okay.
It's like, there's fruit, but man, does that mouthfeel soft.
Yeah.
We said that this is, these all look the same, and they do very much look the same. I will say this one does appear the most like golden yellow straw color. The rest of them all
there
have
could
more
be
of like
malt
an
in it.
orange or brown tint.
Sure.
What
For
hops,
whatever that's worth.
What hops were in this?
This is Citra, Vic Secret, and Simcoe. And I'm assuming that it's, that Simcoe that kind of like reins it back in, from being like overly
I
fruity.
just wish it had more Simcoe.
Okay.
Just to bump up that bitterness. But I do get the Citra little kind of grapefruit kind of.
Yeah. I'm digging this. It's good.
Secret.
It doesn't necessarily taste 8% to me though, either.
No.
You know,
I can see it being there though. The viscosity, like there's definitely some alcohol
I
to
kind of
it.
get it. Yeah.
It's so hard with the way the mouthfeel and everything is to even get it in context.
Is that alcohol? Is that oat cream?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are going to rate the Max Air from Other Half a 4.
Nice. Wasn't Max Air? Was that
Sneaker.
Oh, I was thinking it was like one
Air
of those
Max.
detective shows like in the 90s. Like Max Air.
Max
Private Eye.
Power. Max
Sorry.
Wasn't that Nike?
they
Max
cannot-
Factor.
They cannot be
Oh.
winners.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Revlon.
Okay. Moving on. Let's talk about Mylar Dust. This is 8.5% ABV Imperial IPA. They took their beloved Mylar bags and swapped out the T90 hop pellets for Cryo pellets. It's hopped with Citra, Amarillo, Mosaic Cryo, and then Dorado and Galaxy T90s. Still waiting for the Galaxy Cryo to exist, but they're hoping it'll happen soon. While Mylar bags has big, deep, dank fruity notes on a full palate, this version is bright and punchy and a little less green.
I remember one time when I was in college, me and some guys got a hold of some Mylar Dust.
So this seriously sounds
Lost a whole weekend.
it sounds like an occupational hazard. That was the first thing that I thought when I read the title. I was like, this sounds like something OSHA's
Like
going to be inspecting.
class action lawsuit for people who inhaled Mylar Dust.
I like this one better than the one we just had.
I do
Less
too.
sweet, a little more bitterness. This is what I want in a big double hazy.
And it's still juicy.
It's really good.
Yeah, this is actually a really
This is
nice
a
beer.
really good beer. This is drinkable. I put away a pint of this.
And this is even a little bit higher ABV.
I know.
I mean, not by much, but still a little bit higher.
Less sweet, a little more perceived
Yeah.
bitterness, it's easier drinking.
It's more in balance all the way through. So
Five
everything's kind of
different
playing
hops.
together.
5.
And I usually don't like that. Like, I'll be honest, like hop cocktails are usually not my deal. Like
This works though.
pick one or two and go with it. But you're absolutely right. This actually, everybody's playing together instead of trying to fight for their own little piece of
Not
it.
moving from Mosaic to Citra to okay. There's that. There's like no. It's a symphony. It's working. It's not a
But
cacophony.
if you look at some of these hops, though, these are some classic bittering hops too. So
Yeah.
you know,
Well, and it can depend on how they used them.
yeah.
True.
If they're throwing
when, where, how,
Amarillo and Galaxy in early in the boil,
Early
you're going to
edition
get a lot
hops.
more
Yeah,
of bitterness.
100%.
Okay, well, this was something I wanted to discuss is the T90 hops. Like, I know this is like a new generation of hops. So T90 hop pellets are produced from kiln-dried whole leaf hop cones, which have then been hammer milled into a uniform powder and pressed through a pellet die. The leaf hops vary in oil and vegetative content. So this is even like a more, I guess, concentrated, refined amount of
they're
hops.
just pounding hops in a column.
So
through
basically
a
they-
sieve.
Powder them, spin them around, shove them into a mold, and bang the crap out of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
through tiny holes.
and
That's
I
what
don't
she
know
said.
if Yakima Chief has like the name for it, if you will. But T90 hop pellets come from Yakima Chief hops.
I always thought, I'm not totally sure about this, that 90 was a percentage. It was 90% of the hop matter gets put into the hop pellet as opposed to the 45, which you're getting, I think, less hop matter and more of just the vegetal part of the hop in
like
it.
whole cluster versus.
Yeah, it's been a while since I read up on this, but it does signify like a little more of
Like
the hop matter in the
getting
actual
more
pellets.
of
Really
the
interesting.
crystals.
like the
Yeah.
stems and the and whatnot as opposed to just the leaf.
And it's weird. It's because it's like when you're talking about pot. Okay, let's just say this.
Well, very
Like,
similar
they're-
plants.
Like they're cousins. So, it's stems versus the buds. So you're getting more of the bud and less of the stem.
The reason I mentioned whole cluster is because in the wine world, when you're pressing individual grapes versus the whole cluster of grapes, where you get the stems and everything else, to say that the flavors are very different.
Sure, and because you get, how much foot flavor do you
Yeah.
get? And the
It's something to do with the amount they were able to squeeze in the pellet between a 45 and a 90. And I'm not totally sure the details, but there's something going on about you're definitely getting more, but there's also something about the 45s can have more alpha acids in them too. So I need to go do some reading because it's been a while.
I have to imagine how they kiln dry it too has to
It has
have
to
an
be gentle
impact.
too. Otherwise, you
because
would think
how,
it would.
How are you not like breaking down those vols?
Oh yeah.
those
The
things.
drying is amazing that they're able to dry out these hops yet keep most of the flavor.
That
The hop
they
processing,
wouldn't volatilize.
it is fascinating how they do it.
Yeah.
And just a few percentages of a percent, like a tenths of a percent out with temperature, you're going to screw it up.
Is it kind of like making beef jerky? Like you have to keep it at a low temperature so you don't. I don't know. I just thought of that.
Well, they're saying that the production processes are designed to protect and preserve the hop resins by continually monitoring the temperature and cooling of the pellets.
See, that's
as they're
great
made.
marketing copy.
Yeah. See,
It's
that's
utilitarian.
That's how you market.
I know.
So basically, they have a couple guys over here heating them up. Then they have a couple guys over here who are like,
Fanning it.
kind of keep it from getting too hot.
Or if you do it like in a nitrogen filled, environment.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's
Some
get into the
nitrous?
Mylar
Is that what we're
Dust
talking
now
about?
that we know a little bit about it.
Oh,
We're
wait,
talking about
that's the other-
whippets.
Oh, it's-
restaurant?
This is a good one. I like this.
yeah.
This is
I
a
liked it a
really
lot.
solid beer. I would give it this.
Yeah.
We are going to rate the Mylar Dust from Other Half a 5. And yes, this is sneaky because it's so juicy and it's so
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but fresh, really fresh tasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't think that it's 8.5% ABV.
It starts the way you want it and it ends the way you want it.
Right. Yeah, this is classy, but the thing about Other Half, which has always interested me, is the technology of their hops and what they're using. You know what I mean? Like this isn't your grandfather's version of
Talking about Reverend Mark?
Amarillo.
no,
From
but
Santa Fe.
like seriously, there's technology that has enhanced
Yeah.
the hop flavoring
Oh,
of
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
You're saying that it's the the hops are getting stronger, more
Robust.
more robust and flavorful over the years, and more intense,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting out of hand.
concentrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful. Once they come out with those hop
Hop
edibles.
madness.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, let's
Yes.
talk about some cabbage. So, Other Half has been known for beers with the word cabbage as well as beers with the word broccoli.
Is there cabbage in the beer?
Yes. Oh, no, there's not.
But I've always been fascinated
It
by
is
the
an
fact
interesting
that
beer name.
that the cabbages and the broccolis have always been these sought after type of beer styles from Other Half.
And sometimes you can combine all your vegetables, and we have a local brewery doing mixed greens.
Mixed greens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
I thought you were talking about V8.
Donk.
Okay, so cabbage is a 7.9% double dry hopped Imperial IPA,
Wow.
hopped with Victoria's Secret,
Okay.
Motueka,
Victorious.
Well,
Mosaic, and Simcoe.
Drew's favorite hop is Mosaic, as everyone knows.
It can work with other things. I liked the Mylar Dust. It was in there along with the entire other palette.
Yeah, it's a good beer. I don't know. I would say it's better than the two we've had so far, but it's
I
a
think
good
it's
beer.
better than the first one, and maybe not as great as the second one.
Well, I mean,
Like,
it is the first one. Just swap the Motueka and the Citra. I mean,
It's better than the Max Air. There's a little less sweetness, a little more bitterness, which to me is what it all comes
Yeah.
down
A
to.
little bit
I
more
just
balanced.
Yeah.
Don't like
it
sweet
finishes
beers.
better than Max Air.
Definitely.
But I don't get the double dry hop in this. I mean, I get it in terms of what
is it because
says.
of the hops? Like,
Yeah,
are
it
they
might-
softer?
It must be.
Curious.
It's just not.
Well, and I wonder too. We've had these for a couple weeks, so full disclosure. So
Were they refrigerated?
yes,
They were.
they've been cold the whole time. Yeah. But everybody talks about double dry hopping, and there's a subtle art to dry hopping that, depending on how you do it, you're either wasting hops or you're really maximizing things.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure these guys are good at it, but
Oh
Ever
gosh,
so.
have you ever been to their tasting room? They have 2 pages worth of beer offerings.
Sure.
I mean, they have this dialed
Overload.
down to a science. I mean, they really,
it's
really,
like a
really.
choice.
do.
I'm
Right.
sure they're good at it, but I guess what I'm saying is there's a lot to dry hopping that it falls away quickly.
It does.
And depending on
Diminishing returns.
yeah, and like you said,
Gotcha.
depending on the hops too, it's not going to stay there forever. You're going to get the max benefit of that for a certain amount of time, then it's going to fall away.
All right.
Okay,
But
that's
this is
fair.
still really
That's
good
fair.
beer to me.
But I like the complexity of flavors that we're getting from these beers so far. You know what I mean? And then also the smoothness of it. There's whatever that is that they're doing, it's dialed in. It's modern in the grand scheme of things.
It may be sort of a one-trick pony, but it's a very good trick.
Well,
Very
there's
well
a,
Yeah,
executed.
it's a pretty middle of the road, well made hazy IPA, and it's good. It's drinkable,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't go seeking it out. But it's a good solid
yeah.
beer.
Well, and there's a very close parallel between this brewery and a local brewery that we all know that does a lot of IPAs mixing up the hops, but it's the same formula.
Yeah.
Sure, sure. We just have a
Have they
more
done
local
collaborations
version.
before? in the
Yes.
past?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe
they
they have. And that would make sense to me.
Oh, of
anyways.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay, well, we are going to rate the cabbage. From Other Half Brewing Company a 4. Okay, let's do something different now. Let's talk about the
I really
double
like change.
the double Nelson Daydream, which is 8.5% ABV. And okay, this is interesting too, that besides the one that we just tried that was 7.9%, everything else is either 8 or 8.5% ABV. That's where they're living in the grand scheme of things for today. This is a double dry hopped Imperial Oat Cream IPA.
What the heck is an oat cream?
So
Seriously?
Imperial Oat Cream IPA with hand-selected Nelson Sauvin hops and a huge amount of oats and a hint of lactose.
Hint. They're just hinting at the lactose.
They're just hinting at the gastrointestinal distress that they're going to give over half of America who's lactose intolerant.
Okay.
Stop it already.
So, in the grand scheme of things, does this look really much different?
Don't haze me, bro.
Than the others?
It is super opaque.
Right,
It looks
right.
like a glass of orange juice.
Sure. Like pulpy
Thick.
OJ.
Pulpy, thick. And
Yeah.
with Metamucil in it.
So let me ask you guys
Okay.
this. The mouthfeel on this one, is it a lot creamier to you than the last 3 beers we
Yes.
had?
Yes, it
I
is.
can't get past the fact
Yeah.
that it smells like burnt
But let
something.
But
Yeah.
if you didn't have this, like, was the mouthfeel on the last 3 beers pretty smooth and creamy and nice?
It was super soft and creamy, but this is even creamier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can tell the lactose is in there.
Well, I
but
guess-
I also can tell they didn't overdo it.
Yeah.
I wanted to hate this beer, and I kind of like it.
What did they
No,
overdo it with,
I
though?
do too.
Is it the
I
oat?
know, and I get you.
Well, so here's the thing is when they overdo it with lactose, there's a vanilla flavor.
Right.
and
There
aroma that
is,
comes
and
out,
there's this super slickness on the tongue.
which
Yeah,
is not
exactly.
in
No,
it.
but it's not
Right.
there on
Yeah,
it.
But
it's
they're
not
saying
in
it's a
it. No.
hint.
Yeah.
So that's exactly
this is
what
pretty
it is.
well done.
So
I
heavy
don't know.
oat, light lactose.
Probably, yeah.
I'm kind of digging this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Really
love Nelson
am.
Sauvin.
Yeah.
So
There's definitely the aroma is distinctly Nelson Sauvin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. It is. And
I didn't realize it was that
I'm
burnt.
kind of impressed that they're using
it's
Nelson
that kinda
Sauvin
sharp.
with this. You know
like
what I mean?
this. Yeah, the
Yeah.
more I drink it, the more I like it.
Yeah.
I could drink 2 pints of this as long as I'm calling Uber.
I couldn't drink a full pint of this. This is another one I would want to share because this
Take the
big
lactose
heavy
out.
feel I would want.
It's
I can't
got
drink
that
a lot.
sweet finish. It goes back to the sweet finish for me.
But
Yeah.
this is nice.
It's
It's
a nice
pretty
beer.
good.
Yeah.
I still want to make fun of oat cream.
Well, we'll definitely gonna
Coconut
always
cream.
make fun of oat cream.
We'll be back in just a minute with more oat cream and other half. Welcome back, everyone. So today we're getting a little hazy
Getting a little hazy and crazy.
and oaty.
Call me Daisy.
And we are talking about a brewery takeover from Other Half Brewing Company in Brooklyn, New York. So the beer that we've been talking and discussing and really kind of enjoying is the Double Nelson Daydream.
We're all fans of oat cream, by the way.
Speak for yourself.
We're wrapping our heads around an Imperial Oat Cream IPA.
Oat cream.
Kind of like it.
Creamy oat.
And I'm not a lactose fan.
Oaty creamy.
Yeah. Well, we are going to rate the Double Nelson Daydream from Other Half a 4.
Man, they're killing
I wonder
it.
how the single Nelson Daydream.
Or what about the half Nelson? Is that like Greco-Roman wrestling?
Oh,
That'll pin you down. You know.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so I want to break away a little bit, talk about something that's kind of timely going on. We're all dealing with COVID right now. Like, I mean, no, I'm not saying we all
I'm
have
negative.
COVID right
Is it-
now.
we do now.
Yeah.
Ah, surprise.
I mean, we all made out right before the show, so if one of us had it, we all have it.
Excuse
Creamy.
you?
Well, that's kind of weird.
Hey, you shouldn't have done it. You should have said it before.
That's how the oat gets creamed.
Don't feel like you were pressured into it, Kendall. Well, anyways, so
My God.
in China, how many of you guys have ever been on a blind date in China?
Not in,
Not in China.
Okay, not in China, but
okay,
in a
okay,
blind
okay.
date. Yes.
Let me-
But I
let
was
me
on a
pull- let
blind
me-
date once when at the end of the night, I was speaking in Chinese.
I say, were you blind?
I mean, anyone who's dated me has been on a blind date because I can't see worth crap. But anyways, so a woman in China went out on a blind date. Apparently in China, like women age more quickly than they do in other places because her family was trying to marry her off. And so they had set her up on several blind dates. And one of the guys wanted to show her he could cook. So she goes on a blind date and she goes to his house and he cooks her dinner. Apparently he was an okay cook. It was kind of bland.
Yeah. What was he cooking?
Yeah.
They don't have the exact dish.
Probably couldn't pronounce it anyway.
I'm guessing
Chinese
food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it
Chow mein,
Was
totally.
it cabbage?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That could have been cabbage. Yes,
Napa cabbage or no.
So while she was at his house having dinner, their particular city in China decided to have a COVID lockdown. So the police came around and shut everyone up inside their homes.
Is this like where they weld the apartment doors shut?
Pretty much. They're
Oh.
like, yeah, you're not getting out of here. So she was stuck in her blind date's house
Wow.
for
Aw.
4 days.
Oh my God,
Wow.
4 days?
Yeah.
What a great dating service.
I was like, that sounds like
Now,
a movie.
Have any of you guys ever been on like an awkward kind of like, like an awkward date? Where
Absolutely.
You're like,
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
like you get there and you're
Yeah.
like, okay. And pretty, early on
Yeah.
into it, you're like, nah, the
Yeah.
vibe's not here.
Yeah. Julie told me about your first date. So that, yeah, makes sense.
So I waited entry level fine dining for
Hey, look,
years. You
did
can
my best to
always
get
tell.
away.
Yeah.
Pretty
Really?
much
So
right
like,
away.
what are the tells if you're a server and you're like, oh, this ain't going to go well?
Well, I mean, first of all, you can always tell they don't know each other.
Yeah.
You know, I say if one of them arrives separately from one another, but it's the small talk, if they hit it off, people either hit it off right away and are able to agree about, what they're going to order, or
Yeah.
it's just so awkward and
Yeah.
painful.
Well, I've heard like horror stories where the guy tries to order for both of them.
Ooh.
I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
thankfully.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah. Ooh.
Like I do that
That's
for my
a
wife
bad move.
occasionally
Yeah.
because
No,
she asks me to, but
Yeah.
I'm married to her. We've been
Yeah.
together for 18 years.
Yeah.
I know
That's
what.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's always the cell phone backup clause so that usually the woman
emergency call.
has the call. Oh, your mother just died. I gotta go.
It's from Letterkenny season 3 right there.
Wow.
The,
Exactly.
good old emergency call.
I've had female diners show up early to the date and give me the instruction to give them the emergency.
Yes.
So here's a couple of quotes from the story. So the lady said that other than the fact that he was as mute as a wooden mannequin, he was okay.
Sounds very harsh.
And then she said, I'm getting pretty old now. My family introduced me to 10 matches.
Wow.
So,
Well,
I'm like,
okay, but
dang.
how old is she?
27.
Well,
Yeah,
in China,
See?
with the one
Okay.
child
Yeah.
policy in China, at her age, there are so few women to men because they aborted a lot of lady.
Right.
But I
Chinese
mean,
girls.
like, think
Right.
about, like, she went to this guy's house planning on leaving. She had to stay there for 4 days. So, like, she
Wow.
didn't have a toothbrush,
Had to use his.
change of clothes,
Is there any?
anything.
Yeah. Did they? What is there to eat other than what they made for dinner? That
I
apparently
guess
was
whatever that
bland?
guy cooks is
Yeah.
what you're
Well,
having.
I mean,
you know?
hopefully
Hopefully
he
he's a good cook.
has a refrigerator full of food or a pantry. I mean, but even
Could have turned
besides
into
that,
Hunger
like,
Games
what do
after
you
2
do
days.
with somebody that you're just getting to know?
Play Scrabble.
Do they do that?
To put a puzzle together?
Is there a Mandarin version of Scrabble?
Sure, I'm sure there is.
27,000
So
pictographs.
the lady,
Or
How
do
would
you
that even
hope
work?
that you brought your charger for your phone?
Oh,
yeah, they only identified her by her last name, Wang. I didn't make that up. Her name's Wang. Okay.
Oh, poor girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she basically said this pretty much affected me for life. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But what do you do if you're stuck with somebody for 4 days?
For 4
that you
days.
can't, you know what I mean? That
you
isn't
don't
like
know.
your wife or your,
Yeah.
like
I
true
know.
girlfriend,
I know.
boyfriend,
You know what, though?
whatever.
Like, would this actually be good? Because, like, if they were
Yeah.
stuck together for 4 days and it worked out, you would know, like, this is my.
You would have
Well,
moved through
I
a
mean,
lot of
yeah.
things by that
But-
point.
Yeah.
You would think.
4 days
Sure,
is beyond
sure.
my imagination.
But did it work out?
No.
Of course
did
oh,
not.
it didn't.
No, it did not.
Oh. Because
But now they know they don't have to go on a second date.
Okay, they both don't have COVID though, right?
Well, I don't
You know,
As far as you know. Okay.
You think about it.
Were they locked down for no reason?
Jesus was only stuck in hell for 3 days. So 4 days. That's
There you go.
Yeah, I mean that's
Well, they wanted to
you're a
make it,
bigger saint.
they wanted to make extra sure.
Was the temptation so great?
All right, let's have another beer.
Okay.
And we'll dedicate this beer to Wang and her.
Oh, okay.
Miss Wang.
So this one that we're going to talk about next is Vapor Ringz, 8.4%, double dry hopped Imperial Oat Cream IPA. This
Again with the oat cream.
ring is dosed with all the flavor of heavy Citra,
Good.
accompanied with Galaxy,
Good.
Nelson Sauvin,
Double good.
Pillowy,
pillowy.
Eh.
Pillowy.
That word again.
oats, raw wheat, and lactose.
Wait.
Raw wheat as opposed to cooked wheat?
Yep. Or
says
not malted
raw
wheat.
Not
Okay,
malted,
gotcha.
yeah,
So,
like
well,
an-
which is, I guess,
So
cooked.
raw wheat, a common ingredient in a lot of Belgian, especially like
Yeah.
root beer.
Yeah.
Is, unmalted wheat.
Right,
Really?
right. But not flaked wheat. Not flaked. Yeah.
Is that, like Hefeweizens? Do they use that?
I think Hefeweizens use malted wheat.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
I knew
Yes, they
because
do.
of the haziness. I didn't
Yeah.
know. If
But
that
it's basically unmalted wheat.
No, but the haziness that you're getting from this may
Wow.
be slightly different.
Oat cream.
This is pleasant
like it.
on the nose, though. This is really pleasant.
I like what the Nelson is doing to this beer.
Yeah.
And isn't that weird? Because Nelson Sauvin, like, tends to be, at least in my eyes, is more like in the
Careful what you're saying, Drew.
Lemony.
You could
Yes.
trigger Drew.
lemony farmhouse. Like,
Yeah.
I'm tending to, like, move in that direction
Like
with
funky
Nelson
beers.
Sauvin.
A lot of funky beers.
No, like Funkworks. I
Yeah.
love what Funkworks does
Remember.
with Nelson
like,
Sauvin
like
hops.
Britannomyces and
Like-
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, they get,
Like, was
So
it
the-
10 years ago or so? Brooklyn had a beer with Nelson in it that was
Yes,
beautiful.
That was awesome, but it was so off the mark for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying the fact that Other Half is going like beyond what the normal fresh hops would be. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
this
Or
is good.
citrusy hops. This is really nice.
well, they've had two beers
Not
that
a bit of mosaic in it either.
And I don't get the lactose.
Rude.
oh,
Not much.
You're sad,
A little,
aren't
I
you?
get a little, I get a little bit,
I'm
but
loving it.
But just enough. It's
just a touch. They're using it really well.
You don't have to have mosaic to make a good hazy IPA.
Nope.
But this is an argument for somebody that's like really fine tuned on the. I mean, obviously they're very techie with the hops that they're using, the type of hops that they're using, and to being able to deliver the amount of different beers.
yeah.
You know what I mean? In this Imperial IPA form, like
Yeah.
that's hazy.
Well, then the control with the lactose is the big thing. too.
Exactly.
It's good
Like,
beer.
I mean, honestly, say what you will about, Other Half being about this new generation of brewers that is, kind of going a little bit extra in the grand scheme of things.
Good word.
This is nice.
That is very nice. Well balanced, good control.
Yep.
Did you think when you looked at this flight of beers that all looked the same that there would be this much variation in taste?
I was hoping.
Hoping,
I
yes,
mean-
but did
There's
you
a lot of
think-
variation, but there's
I
a lot
didn't-
of similarity
right.
too.
Agree.
Yeah,
Well,
It's
there
in the same
are.
thread.
There are, but what I like about this, it's almost like being a home brewer and trying like a single hop IPA
Like
with
fault
different
isolation.
hops,
Yep.
right? To see what's
Change one thing
Like
at a time.
what works
like
and
a
what
split
doesn't.
batch.
Exactly,
Wow.
exactly. Like I feel like they're sort of doing this, but on an accelerated level.
Got like 5 pilot systems they're running next to each other instead of,
But
Yep.
again, like I also feel like with the Nelson Sauvin, they're going with something that may not be mainstream, but they're making it mainstream.
Or they're using it in a way that a lot of other people aren't.
Yeah.
other than our local that uses a lot of Nelson in similar
Well,
ways.
Fair.
A lot of similarities there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
true. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I'm really digging it. Yes.
I dig it. Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and I don't get the ABV on this at all. I mean, it really.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
right.
So it's totally.
This is another one that is really like it would sneak up on you.
Honestly, of all of them, this one is the most surprising to me. All the rest,
I
y'all.
don't get the ABV at all on this. So that's surprising in a nice way.
Of course, we could all just be lit by now. So
Whatever.
No.
Okay, so Vapor Rings from Other Half, we're going to rate a 4.
good job. It's been a pretty nice flight so far.
A very consistent flight. Okay, so this is going to be our bonus because we have a couple minutes.
Bonus beer.
Let's talk about this bonus beer, which is the Juice Collector. 8.2% double dry hopped Imperial IPA. The last of their series of labels with the talented folks at Morning Breath is hopped with a terpy mix of Citra, Citra Incognito, Chinook, Simcoe, Enigma, and Sabro Cryo. Soft,
Sounds like
fruity, and dank.
Sounds like a bunch of 80s
I
band
mean,
names.
you definitely get that. That's in Chinook. I mean,
Yeah.
oh my
yes.
gosh, what a great old school bitter hop out
I
there.
mean, this is taking me back.
Yeah.
Like,
Ooh.
aroma itself is just gorgeous.
If this did not have this soft mouthfeel, we could start maybe calling this a West Coast IPA.
Right. Like a
You're almost
stony
there.
kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, it's got that old school West Coast bitterness thing going on, and
Yeah,
I
green
like
flash.
it.
It's the most
Right.
bitter of all the beers.
There's this
we've had.
interesting, almost like lemon drop thing going on the front.
You
to
still
it.
got some juiciness in there.
Right.
I'm digging this.
What a cool friggin' blend.
This is
I mean,
the
like,
most,
seriously.
like full rounded flavor of all the beers so far.
See, yeah, of the hazy beers that I love are the ones that are bitter too, and
Yeah.
and it tracks back to the hazy beers I first started drinking were the ones from Alchemist, and
Yep.
they all have a solid bitterness to them.
balance.
Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah.
Balance. That's the word.
And that's a key thing. And that's what I'm really enjoying about this is you're getting that like fresh citrus juiciness, but you're also getting that forestness.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah,
to
there's-
me,
you get the
that's what
piney.
I've, right.
Yeah.
Piney
Right.
resin going on.
But it's such a good balance.
Yeah,
And I hate to say it, but like we're missing a bit of that, you know, in some
absolutely.
hazy IPAs.
It's the West Coast always balanced out the super dank hops with a really nice malt backbone.
Yeah.
The milkshake stuff, the lactose just never provided the same kind of
yeah,
balance.
it's,
Well,
it's
This
too
is
sweet.
different.
Yeah. Well, like every group tries to get as far away from the previous group as they possibly can. Like, so you have the West Coast IPAs. So then the New England IPAs try to get as far away from being clear with a nice bitter and caramel match. So it was hazy and juicy. And then you go to the brewed IPA, and then you go to the log or the cold IPA and all this other stuff. Everybody tries to get as far away. You should try to find the best of each thing.
Mm-hmm.
Really, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Reverend Mark, what do you think about this?
To me, this is the best one I've had
Yeah.
on the whole flight. It really is. The balance is there. The kind of juicy fruitiness is there, but it's not like hyped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that underlying malt and hops. So I love it. Glad we saved the best to last.
Yeah, it
I
was a
know,
good one.
isn't
That's
that
why
crazy?
it's the bonus.
Well, we are going to rate the Juice Collector from Other Half a 5.
Good flight.
Very good flavor.
I wanted to hate it because they're so
know.
popular.
Well,
You
they
know,
all
but-
looked like a bunch of
Oh.
hazy boys.
But this really, I mean, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Unless it's a dirty book.
Whatever.
Isn't that like what's in with shoes these days?
Okay. I think
Gold
this was a
star.
really great flight and a really great kind of like taste test of,
Yeah.
you know, for all these hazies, that there's different version of hazies that are out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is going to do it for us today and wrap up our Suds episode. Good Boy Kendall, thank you so much for being here today.
I love being here today. It was a great day.
Please tell us about your blog.
My beautiful wife and I blog about the good news of good beer at beermakes3.com.
Reverend Mark, thanks so much for being here.
It's so good to start out the year drinking good beer with good friends.
Good Boy Drew.
And then there was me. Thanks for having me.
Good old boy, Dave.
Hey, I'm glad we all got together and tried these beers.
I know, right?
Right. There's just good stuff, man.
This is good old gal Juliana. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep on chuggling, and we'll catch you next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're listening to us online, do yourself a favor and tap
it in.
the subscribe button.
Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
The easiest way to listen to our show is to ask Siri, Alexa, Google, Uncle Larry, or whoever it is that talks to you on your phone. Play podcast Sip Suds and Smokes. We love your feedback, and you can reach us at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Our tasting notes flow out on Twitter and Instagram with our handle @SipSudsAndSmokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. You'll also be able to interact with the thousands,
millions, and millions
of other fans on those social media platforms. Do us a favor. Take the time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online. That's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. Come back, join us for another episode, and keep on sipping.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sip Suds and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.